Welcome to TTI's new video in our Japan series. Today, we'll be talking about mythical beings from the land of the rising sun. Myths are not stories that are untrue, rather they are tales that don't fit perfectly into the historical records, which often serve as a foundation of a culture. Today, we will explore 5 of the strangest and most terrifying creatures from Japanese mythology. So without further ado, let's start the video. Kitsune. In Japanese, the word kitsune means intelligent foxes that possess supernatural abilities. These foxes appeared in Chinese, Korean, and Japanese folklore, literature, and mythology. These foxes can be good, neutral, or evil, but mostly they were considered to be mischievous shapeshifters and tricksters. Historically, they were also known to possess the power to take any form of a beautiful woman.
You are a very brave boy.
Tricking others for their own amusement and personal agendas. They are associated with both good and bad omens. It should also be noted that these fox spirits are also known to be loyal to people who did some kind of compassionate act or favor for them. In these cases, a kitsune may try to pay back the favor by giving power and even riches to the person. They even go as far as to marry the kind man in the form of a beautiful woman. There's also a special type of kitsune who are messengers of Inari, the god of rice and agriculture. But things are not always good when it comes to kitsune. Kitsune are also associated with corrupt rulers, causing chaos in their territories. A kitsune woman by the name of Tamamo no Mai is one example. She appeared during the Heian period and seduced the Japanese emperor Toba. Soon after, the emperor got ill, and as a result, the kitsune Tamamo no Mai got the death penalty. Even after her death, her curse on the kingdom continued. Soon the previous emperor also died. In time, even the emperor's son died in a mysterious way. Her curse was so powerful and vengeful that it eventually led to a destructive war known as the Genpei War, which destroyed the entire empire. After that, a new era of shogun began in Japan. According to mythology, the kitsune became even more powerful over time. A fox that reaches the age of 100 develops a second tail, and his magical abilities reach a new level. After living for 800 to 1,000 years, the fox will become a kyubi. This is a famous 9-tailed fox that could spit fire out of its mouth or tails. In fact, the more tails kitsune had, the older, wiser, and more powerful they were supposed to be. They even developed silver or gold-colored fur. Nine-tailed foxes were considered to be as strong as a Shinto god, and many people would make sacrifices to them. If a 9-tailed fox became evil, it could bring disastrous damage to the world. These disasters included fires, earthquakes, and strong windstorms that were a sure sign of the fury of a 9-tailed fox. With their 9 tails and the ability to continuously absorb energy from human lives, they were considered to be immortal beings. The 9-tailed fox had many abilities, including entering people's dreams, flying, becoming invisible, bending reality with illusions, controlling space and time, being able to see and hear anything around the world. The evil 9-tails prefer to target poorer villages, and most commonly Buddhist monks, the majority of whom are men. Even in modern Japan, if a property is supposedly possessed by evil kitsune, you will not see a buyer for that property, even if the price is slashed significantly. So next time you're being chased by a beautiful woman, there is a chance that it may be an evil kitsune.
Oh my God! Wow!
You can identify it by looking for her foxtails. Alternatively, if your girlfriend shows a hatred for dogs or becomes particularly rattled by even a puppy, then it's time to run, my dear friend. Kappa. This creature, known as a kappa, looks like it's half frog and half monkey. It is considered to be a river child. In Japanese mythology, they were able to swim like fish due to their webbed hands and feet. In modern Japan, they can purportedly be found anywhere with a friendly, smiling face and cute appearance. According to ancient theorists, kappas were believed to have actually existed in history and may be an example of frog evolution into an intelligent creature capable of speech and communication, despite their bird-like beak. Kappas look like a 5-foot-tall child.
Wait a minute!
Kappas look like a 5-foot-tall child. With a turtle shell on its back and green-yellow, scaly reptilian skin. Its mouth was a beak and there was a plate on its head filled with water as a source of energy. The behavior of kappas can be complicated. Mostly, they were considered to be notorious troublemakers and trickster creatures that were often associated with harmless pranks for their amusement. They used to steal food and women's clothes and scare the local villagers. Still, despite the harmless nature of many of their pranks, human society was also afraid of this creature.
結構可愛いから。いい！ねえ。やだやだ。こっち来ないでよ。ねえってば。もうやめて！怒るよ。
Kappas could sometimes be considered malevolent and aggressive creatures. Some kappas used to prey on children by drowning them in the water, kill women, and eat human flesh as food. They could also engage in vampire-like behavior, such as drinking human and animal blood and eating their vital organs, such as the heart or the liver. As a result of this reputation, it was suggested that children should avoid kappas to be safe. But even if you do see a kappa, there are ways to protect yourself with some useful tricks. One of these tricks is bowing to the kappa. Kappas are sensitive to politeness, and as a result, they will respond by bowing back to you. If they do bow to you, the water inside the head plate will fall to the ground. Kappas rely on that water for energy and will die within minutes. There is another method to defeat a kappa, but only if you're physically stronger than it. Just detach a hand from the kappa's body. If you can achieve this, the kappa will grant you a wish or give you precious knowledge in exchange for its return. Despite their occasional evil behavior, kappas are also known to be one of the most knowledgeable creatures to have ever existed. It is believed that kappas taught humans how to fix broken bones and shared other medical knowledge with people. Some even help farmers to grow crops during times of famine with their incredible knowledge of irrigation. So if you're receiving a good crop in your country, there's a chance it's because the kappa's blessings are with you. In the Marvel Universe, if you're bitten by a spider, you become Spider-Man with some pretty cool supernatural abilities. But in Japanese mythology, spiders don't just bite humans. Instead, they prefer to eat them whole.
No, God!
Yep, we are talking about Jorōgumo, a type of evil yokai creature that first appeared in literature of the Edo period. Jorōgumo is an extremely beautiful woman, but at the same time is a deadly evil creature. The Japanese word Jorōgumo means a tempting or seducing woman. It can also be more formally described as a binding bride or entangling bride. When this giant spider feels hungry, she walks the streets and uses her shape-shifting ability to transform herself into a beautiful woman, often a noble or royal lady. She then politely invites handsome men to her house for tea or dinner. Once there, she will play a musical instrument, like a shamisen, which is usually played by courtesans. Jorōgumo mostly attracts young men, and she has years of experience in manipulating human emotions and making them her prey. When a tempted man enters her lair, she immediately takes them in her clutches and injects them with a slow but very painful poison. The victim will feel pain for several days or weeks before they eventually die. During this period of suffering and agony, Jorōgumo will occasionally take a bite of the victim's flesh. She prefers to consume her prey piece by piece. Interestingly, Jorōgumos were considered to be half woman and half spider, and were often accompanied by hundreds of spider children.
It's huge! Look at the size of that thing! It's absolutely gigantic!
According to legends, it's believed, after a few centuries, a certain species of spider known as the golden orb weaver spider eventually transformed itself into a Jorōgumo yokai. Jorōgumos usually live alone in places like forests, caves, and dark abandoned places in Japan. Jorōgumo first appeared in a written story from the 17th century. According to that story, a young, handsome samurai took shelter in an abandoned place with a lot of spider webs. A woman appeared with a child during the night and claimed that the child belongs to him. The samurai was a smart man, and he was suspicious of this lady who was traveling at night in an unexpected place. The samurai slashed the woman with his blade, but she was able to escape. But the next morning, the samurai found a room where a giant spider was dying due to a deep cut from a sword, exactly like the one he gave the young woman. The baby was there too. The room was filled with the corpses of previous victims wrapped in webs. The samurai was incredibly fortunate to have survived the horror of the Jorōgumo. Aka-Manto. You may be surprised to learn that most people spend an average of 2 hours a week on the toilet. That's a lot of time. But after today, you may want to spend a little less time on the toilet when we talk about one of the scariest Japanese legends. This is the story of a bloodthirsty, evil yokai known as Aka-Manto. This yokai is considered to be attached to the last toilet in a row in public places. The Aka-Manto became so popular, even outside Japan, due to the fact that they're heavily featured in Japanese pop culture. They make frequent appearances in manga, books, and movies. Next time you go to the toilet, if you hear the creepy voice of the Aka-Manto, then be careful, you would be forced to play its game of death inside the toilet, and the chances of survival is nil. There are two popular stories that talk about the origin of Aka-Manto. The first story says that once upon a time, the Aka-Manto was a handsome, young man who used to wear a red cape on his shoulder. This was the origin of the name, as the Japanese word Aka-Manto literally means red cape. Unfortunately, the man was killed in the toilet, which was an extremely humiliating death for him. After that, his soul sought revenge by hunting other people in the toilet. The second story suggests that Aka-Manto was actually a schoolgirl in a red school dress.
私を知っているのか。まあ、どうでもいい。
According to this story, her real name was
Hanako-san.
She was a student who suffered from constant humiliation by her classmates. She felt extreme depression, sadness, and anxiety. As a result, she passed away in the school toilet. Her body died, but her spirit remained there. Seeking revenge against humanity for all humiliation she had endured, her spirit was trapped between this world and the afterlife. Her dark look is said to be able to freeze the blood of even the bravest people. Today, this spirit continues to search for her next victim. Aka-Manto usually appears when you finish doing your business. A monstrous voice will ask you to choose between red or blue toilet paper.
Yellow! I'll take yellow, Charmin!
Making the wrong selection will be deadly. However, there is unfortunately no right answer. Choosing between red and blue colors is more like choosing how you want to die. If you try to run from Aka-Manto, she will chase you to your death, so running away is not an option. If you choose the red toilet paper, then protect your neck because Aka-Manto will gradually peel away the skin on your neck. You will feel extreme pain, then die due to the bleeding, which is metaphorically represented by the red color. But what happens if you choose the blue role? The answer is equally terrifying. Aka-Manto will grab your neck to strangle you. You'll have trouble breathing, which will turn your skin blue as you die. That is what the blue color represents for Aka-Manto. If you're unfortunate enough to meet Aka-Manto, I hope you understand that you will almost certainly suffer a painful death. Even if you try to think outside the box and select a color other than red or blue, you will not be safe. An otherworldly passageway will appear beneath you and pull you into the world of darkness where you will die. On the other hand, if you refuse to answer by staying silent, then time will be stopped for you and you'll be trapped in that toilet for the rest of your life.
Oh my God!
Feeling hopeless? You might be surprised to learn that there is a way to survive an encounter with Aka-Manto under rare conditions. One way is to calmly reply to Aka-Manto that you don't need any paper. However, she must be in a good mood for this to work. Alternatively, you can choose the yellow paper. If you do, she will push your head inside the nasty toilet, but at least you'll still be alive. And that's what matters most for many people.
Just hang on!
Hang on! Why didn't I think of that?
Shinigami. Who are the Shinigami and what do they want from humans? Well, here we'll discuss everything about the Shinigami. Nobody likes this creature. The Shinigami became popular outside Japan due to the incredible popularity of the anime series Death Note.
Shinigami, the god of death, huh? Well, I'm not surprised.
The Japanese word Shinigami is made from two other Japanese words, shi and gami. These literally mean death and god, or god of death. The Japanese mythology surrounding the Shinigami is incredibly interesting. Even though the concept of a death spirit existed in ancient Japan, the word Shinigami first entered Japanese folklore around the 18th or 19th century during the Edo period. During this time, Shinigami appeared in classical stories as an evil spirit that used to possess ordinary people, make them feel hopeless about their life, and lead them towards suicide. But the concept of Shinigami is not the same as the Western concept of the Grim Reaper or Angel of Death. In Japan, Shinigamis are considered to be unpredictable with their own distinct personalities. They are not responsible for every death that occurs in the world, but Shinigamis can cut the lives of certain individuals short. Shinigamis may work individually or in groups and pairs. So in simple words, Shinigamis can be described as monsters, helpers, and creatures of darkness.
Be warned, any human who's used a death note can neither go to heaven nor hell for eternity.
While most death gods from around the world choose to help people as they transition to the underworld, monsters like Shinigami seek revenge and enjoy causing death. As creatures of darkness, they use the lives of mortals to sustain their own existence for a longer period of time. So, what do they look like? In early Japanese literature, they were described as spirits without any physical body, but newer depictions describe them as creatures made up of bones without flesh or meat, and they often appear to be a god, spirit, or demon-like figure. According to the Japanese creation myth, the Izanagi and the Izanami are considered to be examples of the very first Shinigami. Izanami introduced death to the world and vowed to kill 1,000 people every day. She may be considered the mother of Shinigamis because she is continuously giving birth to evil Gami and death spirits. There were 8 pairs of brother and sister deities, and they were also often associated with both creation and death. Unlike the Grim Reaper, Shinigami can appear to be polite in nature and less frightening in appearance. They politely invite people into death, often not even using more aggressive means. It is also believed that if you meet somebody in a dark night, then you're more susceptible falling to prey to the evil Shinigamis. To protect yourself against these spirits, it is said that you need to drink tea or eat rice before sleeping. Hopefully you'll sleep well tonight, despite the frightening creatures we've shared with you. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. For more videos like this, click on the videos that are on screen now, and I'll see you next time.
'Cause I'm coming for you.